Good evening, everyone. I am Mark, your fat friend,
And I'm James, your black friend,
and this is the Fat and Black Connection.
where we talk about anything and everything. Well, as long as it's interesting to you boys.
Absolutely. And this is a live, interactive broadcast. And James, what exactly does that mean?
That means we got chat features open on all our platforms. So if you're there, go ahead and type some messages in. We bring them up on the show sometimes. It even changes the direction of the show.
Yes. And just to verify that this is a live show, it is August 24th, 2022 at 8:02 on the West Coast.
Yes, sir.
So it is a lovely day. It's been a while. We took last week off,
Yes.
and so we're back. What'd you do with last week?
Actually, I felt dumb because I had the opportunity to take part in this panel, and then I realized I declined the panel, and then I was like, "Oh, wait, we're not doing the show." I tried to find out if I could get back in on it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to. But on Thursday night, I did take part in the live Jurassic World Dominion trivia show they had last
That sounds
Thursday.
terrible.
Oh no, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I mean, it was just 33 questions, nothing really crazy, but I didn't win, but they had some pretty decent prizes, so I was like, I might as well take a shot, see how I do.
Sure. And how did you do?
I don't know. I just didn't win any of the prizes, so that's all I know.
Ah, well, part of the reason that we didn't do an episode last week is because I was down in Anaheim last week, visiting the happiest place on earth for a couple of days.
Yes.
And yeah, that was fun. It was exhausting. I took my kid. It was my kid's first time getting to go and see a Disneyland, but so that was exciting to see the reactions and everything. But it was very
Mostly
tiring.
good.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, of course there was crabbiness because long days
Right.
but yeah,
Little legs.
overall it was good.
All
Yeah.
right.
So I was selfishly, it was not enough for me.
Right.
I feel like I need to go back again just for myself. Um, but what we're talking about potentially going again later next year, sometime around like November. So the holiday decorations will be up and all that kind of stuff, and my kid will be a year older.
Oh, like when we went.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, like the week
yeah.
before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
put it on your calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if we can try and make that happen.
Yeah.
Because we only got a big cruise next year, so why not do something else?
Right.
So James, I'm a little thirsty today. I will be drinking some Anderson Valley Brewing Company salted caramel porter malt beverage with natural flavors, aged 6 months in bourbon barrels.
Huh. Interesting. Where can you get that from?
I got this at Costco.
Dude, this is irritating me as to no end. Like, your Costco has so many different beers and stuff. My Costco has crap. Like, literally the only beer, I mean, they have like Bud Light and like Coors Light, but I don't want that. Like, the only other thing that they have that I really like, well, that's not completely true. I guess I could go and try some of the other beers, but like the only one that I know I like is 805. And
Well,
I think they have Kona Brewing Company, the Hawaiian beers, but like 805 is like the only one that they have in my Costco.
weird. So this is a 9.5% alcohol by volume. So
Oh,
pretty high. And the interesting thing is it came in literally just like a regular standard silver tin can with a sticker wrapped around it.
low
So
budget. Hey,
yes, got to do what you got to do. I have no idea where this place is. Let's see, Anderson Valley, Boonville, California.
Boonville. Oh, that sounds stickish.
Yeah, and there we go. All right. So again, salted caramel porter.
All right, that's almost one I think needs to be in a glass.
Yeah, coming in a can is kind of weird. You would expect it to come in a bottle, maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's for a porter, it's pretty light. So
Well, I know a lot of different. Well, there's a lot of different porters that they're changing up some. Like they're not as heavy as they used to be. So, hey
oh,
y'all.
and we got Tyrus checking in,
Oh,
not working this week. Oh, hope
uh,
everything's okay. Um, Tyrus unfortunately
congratulations.
is not going to be making it for the rib cook off. So
Oh,
we still have some open seats for those of you that might be interested at the Best of the West Rib Cook Off taking place Labor Day weekend.
uh, we'll talk later. We'll talk later.
You got some folks?
Yeah, I think I might know some people that can get in on that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Tyrus evidently has been drinking some Corona. So,
No, he got the Rona.
I got it.
That's why he's not working this week.
That makes more sense.
I was like, he's drinking Corona. No, he says I got the Rona.
My bad.
Yeah.
So something else we've got going on for those of you out there that might be interested is we've got our fantasy football league coming back, season 2.
Literally, I just saw the message the other day, and I was like, "Hey, we better bring that
Yeah.
up."
Yeah, there's no cost, there's no buy-in, anything like that. It's just for fun and bragging rights. We do have our draft coming up next week, next Tuesday night. So that should be fun. If you're interested, let us know. We'll get you added to the group. I think we have a couple spots left. And
Yeah, because I know last year's winner, Bonita. I hope you're coming back.
Yeah, you're gonna have to reach out to them because I haven't checked, but last I checked, they hadn't re-upped yet. So
all right, well,
I gave everybody except for Quitter Team the option to re-up.
All right, I will send a message out, see if they're down.
Cool. So James, shall we dive into some content?
Dive.
So today, coming out of the White House was some huge news. Some people hate it, some people love it. Let's talk about it because it's interesting to us.
Yes, sir.
This is officially straight from the White House website, so this isn't anything I've made up. It's not even, I can't even say if the stuff is accurate, but this is the information that was presented by the White House. So this is the Biden administration's student loan debt plan, which will be done through executive action. This has not been approved through Congress or anything like that. It's just, the president saying, I'm going to go ahead and do this.
Yeah.
So they are forgiving debt. So if you had Pell grants, you can get up to $20,000 forgiven, and anyone else who just had regular grants can get up to $10,000 forgiven. Forgiveness only applies to those earning less than $125,000. And what they don't specify there, and I assume is the case, is that's a single person, meaning like they're not looking at combined income.
No, I don't think they're looking at combined income of 125,000. I think there's an individual. I believe it's individuals.
Yes, they're also they're continuing the pause on student loan payments through the end of this calendar year.
Right.
They're also changing it up that moving forward, your payments are based on your income and that it can't be more than 5% is the most that they can expect. You can pay more than 5%,
right?
But they can't make you pay more than 5%. It was 10%.
Yeah, my biggest thing about this whole thing, I mean, which I think it's nice that they're doing this, but
of course
like my whole thing is that like I just never understood why schools, like, okay, let's say you're going to, I guess it's just the institute that you're going to, like if you go to Yale and then somebody else goes to San Jose State and they both major in history, let's say for some, that like, I don't know why you're going to Yale for history, but let's say you do, like the facts don't change. Is it just because of the name of the school that it's so much more?
Yes. The prestige. And the important thing to remember here is that these are not like private loans or anything like that. These are specifically only for federal loans. So if you received a federal loan for going to school, then that's where these come in. Personally, I hate this. I hate when we erase debt because nothing's being erased. This ultimately is going to cost somewhere in the vicinity of about $300 billion. Um, that's just being theoretically wiped off the books. Well, somebody is owed that money or collected that money, and so who's really on the hook for it is you and I as taxpayers. So all it's going to do ultimately is increase the national debt, which is already over $20 trillion.
Yeah.
So what's this? Just a drop in the bucket. I'm not a fan of ever saying, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and erase that debt for you, because at the end of the day, when you go and you get a student loan or any kind of loan for that matter, you're signing a contract saying, I understand what I'm doing and that I will pay it back.
Yeah.
Uh,
My whole thing, the other thing too with those is actually a comedian made a really good point. He said if you went into a bank and basically trying to get a small business loan, you know, and the business is you, like most people, you probably wouldn't be able to get that. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I just don't. I still think college shouldn't cost that much. But
I agree with you 100%. College should not cost that much. But part of the reason that college costs as much as it does is because of government subsidies, because of these student loans. Colleges
Mhm.
started charging more because they knew the kids aren't going to pay for it themselves right away. So
Yeah,
let's increase the costs. We'll get it. We're still going to get our money up front.
yeah. It's-
No, I agree 100%. College should be cheaper and education should be cheaper in general.
Yeah. Like
Um,
I mean, I understand. I mean, I understand like private institutions, like they can charge what they, I get that. I get that. And because like private schools, I understand they cost more, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I just don't understand why um like these public universities cost so much.
No, like I said, you won't get an argument from me there. But I mean, what's next? Are we going to say that we're going to go ahead and forgive? You've got a car, right, and you still have a payment on it, right? Are we going to say, okay, we're going to go ahead and forgive $5,000 of your debt?
Oh, I don't think it's gonna go that way.
But you get my point. What is the line, and what is okay and what is not?
Well, I mean, the
It,
thing is, I mean, like if you think about, I guess if you're thinking about that way, then do you think those rebates, like they're talking about if you'll get rebates on like if you buy an electric vehicle and things like that, are those? I mean,
that's a
those are
misnomer, though. It's not a rebate.
right.
So when you think about it, you have your taxes that you pay every year, right?
Hmm.
And you have a certain amount that you're going to pay in taxes. Maybe it's $1,000, right?
Hmm.
And now you get this, let's say, $500 rebate. Really, what that means is instead of you paying $1,000 in taxes that year, you're only going to pay 500.
500. Yeah.
So you're not getting money. You're not getting some money that you didn't have before.
No, I
You're just
understand
getting
that.
to
It's just
keep your money.
yeah. But like yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I think like I said, I like the idea. I do understand that some people are upset because they're like, I paid my school debt, I paid my debts and stuff
Well, and
like that, and
that's
that's
the
so
other
that
thing. What about all the people out there that did the right thing, paid off their student debt, and
yes.
they're not receiving any benefit from this?
So I mean that was also I remember when they were discussing this in the first place. I remember that was something that came up. It was like, what about the people that have already paid? And yeah, I do understand that's very upsetting. But yeah, I don't know. I
So
still don't.
going back to something you talked about with school costing so much, you're absolutely right. Here again, this is from the White House, U.S. Department of Education, and this shows you the cost of attending college has skyrocketed, but federal support has not kept pace. Cost of college attendance and maximum Pell grants in 2021, and so this shows 1980 to 2021. So a public four-year university back in 1980 cost approximately $8,000, and you could get a Pell grant of up to $6,000. Where you look at today, for example, a public four-year university costs $22,000, but you can only get that same $6,000 or so.
Jeez.
So yes,
That didn't keep pace at all.
well, and again, I don't necessarily think that it should have to. I don't think the government should be responsible for funding people to go to school. I'm not a fan of that. I think if people want to go to school to continue their education after the 12 years that is paid for you by taxpayers, I think if you want to keep going to school and further your education, you should do that. But you should go get a private loan. You should have your family help you, or you should go get a job to pay for it. I don't think it should be funded by the federal government.
I mean, grants are just what, like, just it's like money that can only go to the school, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So
Or
it's
for
not like,
school expenses, you have to prove that they're for
oh
school
yeah,
expenses. But yes.
okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's like you said. I think it's ridiculous that the price of schools have gone like through the roof like that.
So this next slide, again presented by the White House, U.S. Department of Education. Nearly all Pell Grant recipients come from families with incomes of $60,000 or less. So I assume that means combined income. So as you can see in this pie chart, if you're listening along, I'll do my best to describe. So this is showing the distribution of Pell Grant recipients by income from 2019 to 2020. So those living in a household of 30,000 or less received 66% of all Pell Grants. Households of 30 to 60,000 received 28%. And then any household with 60,000 or more received 7% of the Pell Grants.
Mm-hmm.
So the point that they're trying to make here is that ultimately those that are going to most benefit are those coming from low-income families and low-income housing households.
Right.
This next slide. Nearly 90% of debt cancellation benefits will go to borrowers earning less than 75,000. So remember that threshold was 125.
Right.
So this shows that 87% of the money that will be affected here is going to people making less than $75,000 a year, 13% 75 to 125. And of course, 0% at 125 or more. I don't know why
I don't know why they put. Yeah, I don't know why they put that on there.
It's not necessary.
I mean, I guess they just needed to show it.
Yeah, I think
we made the slide too big. Put something else in there.
Well, and I think what would be more interesting in this is to show truly lower dollars, like somebody making 30,000 a year. What percentage is that versus going straight to 75? I'd like to see the lower end. Because if you're really trying to sell that this is helping
to break this down, break that 87 down.
Well, yeah, because you think about it, $75,000 a year, you're making decent coin. That's not nothing. That's more than I made. That's more than I make now, right?
Yeah.
So somebody making $75,000 to $125,000 a year, they're making good coin.
Yeah.
And Tyrus is commenting now on YouTube. This is kind of opposite of what Trump did when he changed the tax brackets. It's just them moving money around. To an extent, you're not wrong, Tyrus. And that's kind of the name of the game. The shell game. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Just keep it moving, right? This slide. These reforms would simplify loan repayment and deliver significant savings to low and middle income borrowers. So they give some examples. So somebody that's a typical single construction worker making $38,000 a year with a construction management credential, their new lower payment would be $31 a month as opposed to $147 that they pay now. So that's nearly $1,400 of annual savings. It's not savings. You're just elongating how long it takes them to pay off that loan. And that means more interest because there are interests on these loans. Yeah. So by saying the most that you can require them to pay just means you're tacking interest on. I hate that there's this misnomer. A typical single public school teacher with an undergraduate degree is making $44,000 a year. So they'll be expected to pay $56 a month compared to the $197 they pay now.
I still think school teachers need to be paid more.
I think good school teachers should be paid well.
Yeah.
I don't think all teachers should be.
Well, yeah, I'm talking. Yeah. Look, if you want to see something that's, I thought that was pretty funny, was the Key and Peele teacher draft. I was like,
I'll have to look into that because I don't think I've
yeah,
ever seen that.
no, it's pretty good. It's a good one. I saw that, I was like, oh, that'd be nice. But
I would have loved if we could have drafted our teachers in high school, and when here's the math teachers, pick which one you want. That might have been.
I mean, no, that was PE teachers that we got to choose from.
Yeah, I think that was the only class where you really had, like 6 teachers. Here's the things they're going to do for the semester. Go to which one you want.
And then, and I mean, and that was if you can get in. That wasn't like some of the teachers filled up faster than the others. So it was like, I pretty much tried to find the one that didn't make me run the mile all the time.
All right, let's move on from student debt. Let's talk about some more interesting things.
Oh yeah.
So next up, I got to ask James. Not that long ago, an amazing film came out.
Yeah.
And this amazing film had a lot of spoilery events that happened throughout the film that you weren't necessarily expecting, or maybe you were expecting, but you didn't know if it would happen.
Right. And
I think the film really paid off. And of course, I'm talking about Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Oh yeah. Oh, and that's a new poster.
Yes,
I like that.
Yes, it is.
I like that. And
you'll notice that it says on this poster, back in movie theaters, September 2nd.
I heard about this.
So obviously the poster gives everything away. So if you haven't seen the film by now, for some reason,
if you didn't see this film, you missed it. I mean, go see it. But obviously they're giving a lot away here. But
yeah, so Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Assuming everybody saw this movie,
it's coming back to the theaters. Are you going to go see it again?
I mean, I heard there's new footage, but I don't know how many minutes of new footage that would pretty much determine. Let me stop lying. I might go see it again. I'm not 100% like on board, but I might go see it again for the new. Like if it's a good number of minutes of new footage, if it's like just like 5 minutes of new footage, then probably not. But
I would go see it again, even if it was just the original cut, because I wanted to see it a second time in the theater. I just never got around to it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the fact that there's additional content is just gravy,
icing.
Yeah. Because so I don't know how long it'll be in the theaters. I will make a good attempt, but I've got a lot of stuff going on coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if it'll happen. I would really like to, though.
I mean, that's not. I still have the free tickets. I do have free tickets through.
They're not free. You pay for them.
Well, I mean, not free tickets, but I got tickets for the movies, so.
Yes. You pay for them monthly. If you don't use them, they roll over. They're not free. Right. So speaking of films, and I don't have a slide for this one, I apologize. But Avatar, the original Avatar film, recently was taken off of Disney Plus because it's
putting that back in theaters.
Yeah. You going to go see it again?
If they do the IMAX 3D, yes. Because that was probably one of the films. That was one of the only films that I've seen. Well, okay, one of very few films that I've seen that were in IMAX and 3D that were worth the 3D.
I mean, except for that Siegfried and Roy film.
Oh God, ugh. Don't even. The Magic Box in 3D. Mm-hmm. Yikes. No, I mean that was something. If I hadn't worked in there, I would not have paid to see that. Wait, was that a free one? Or was that the pay one?
No, that was a pay one. You're right.
That was a pay one. Yeah, I wouldn't pay to go see that, and I was surprised people did. I mean, whatever. But yeah, no. I really enjoyed Avatar. Like I said, I saw it in IMAX and 3D, and it was well worth the price for the 3D, because normally like 3D for me is like whatever, like it's not even really worth it in most films that I've seen, but with that movie 100% truly amazing in 3D.
Yeah, I've been debating whether or not I want to go see it.
Did you see it the first time?
Oh, not in IMAX 3D. No,
Oh,
I only ever saw it just like standard.
okay.
So yeah, I'm debating. I enjoy the film. I watched it probably about a year ago when it first came back onto Disney Plus, or was it first came onto Disney Plus?
Mhm.
And it was longer than I remembered, but it was good. Um,
Yeah.
I still don't know why it's the number one film of all time. Like it's good.
I think it got surpassed now.
Oh well, I'm sure because of this re-release, it'll be back to the number one spot.
Probably not,
Um,
but I mean, well, yeah, no, because that still, I think it got beat out by, I think it got beat out by Endgame, Endgame or Infinity War, one of those.
uh, Oh, Avatar is still the all-time worldwide box office
Oh,
with $2.845 billion. Avengers Endgame is second with 2.797 billion. So
oh,
with
okay. I
Avatar
thought it actually,
getting with Avatar getting its re-release, it'll only pad those numbers.
yeah, there you go. Good for
And
you, Cameron.
Titanic's number three. So
That's three.
Cameron's got two
Yeah,
out of the top three.
yeah,
But Marvel's got like six out of the top 10. So,
yeah. So I was gonna say, like,
it's
yeah,
absurd.
Feige's doing okay.
Yeah, that guy's got a job for life. I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything he could do to lose
Actually,
his.
I heard something about apparently like Warner Brothers was trying to get him.
There was a point when Feige's contract was coming up, and they were trying to court him hardcore.
Yeah. I guess that Disney money speaks volumes.
Well, and I think probably also the prestige of
Yeah, yeah,
being the guy running Marvel for Disney. Like,
yeah. That
I mean, I could see Feige being the guy that takes over the Walt Disney Company at some point. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I thought. I mean, when Lasseter was there, and before Lasseter left, I thought, like he was gonna be taking over, because the he was really behind the big move in Pixar, and making sure that the Pixar stories had actual stories and continuity and all that kind of stuff. So I was kind of sad when I heard that John Lasseter was leaving.
yeah, agreed. Well, and no one could do any worse than the current leadership at Walt
Ugh.
Disney Company. So,
Aren't they heisting that dude? I thought they were ousting that guy because he was
no,
just like, it's been
hasn't
horrible.
happened. His contract actually got re-upped. So,
Ugh, that guy's
we'll talk
horrible.
more about Disney in a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah, yeah.
Before we talk about Disney some more, let's talk about a trailer that dropped with some new footage, some new understanding of what's going on in the world of this film. Or series, I should say.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. This show, man.
It keeps looking better and better.
Yeah, every trailer they drop, there's like new content, and watching these trailers, like they remind me of when the first trailers for like Lord of the Rings came out with the Peter Jackson stuff and how beautifully stunning it looked. And same thing here. I'm watching these trailers.
They could just show me pictures. They don't even have to have dialogue in these things. They could literally just show me scenery, and I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, it's just amazing, and it's that Bezos money on this show. So,
Is he paying for this, or
I mean, he owns Amazon, so
I just thought it was just another place for them to release stuff, but I didn't know that.
I assume Amazon put money into this show.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. Well, they did.
Yeah, but they keep releasing all of these posters. Like, as you can see here, if you're watching with us right now, there's 29 posters here, new ones that they just released.
Hey, look.
Or I'm sorry, 23.
All I know is that the show open better have that teaser trailer opening that they had.
Well, and this comes out September 2nd, same day as Spider-Man re-releasing.
Oh,
yeah. So I will not be seeing Spider-Man on release date because I will be likely watching this.
Yeah. And is this going to be like are they releasing all of it at one time, or is this going to be like a weekly thing? Do you know?
I think if they're smart, they're going to be doing it weekly.
Yeah.
That way, it keeps people engaged for the long
Oh,
haul.
yeah. Speaking of weekly, hey, do we have any Game of Thrones fans out there? Cause I need to I just today I watched the first, I mean, because I guess they're doing this weekly too. The first episode of uh House of Dragons. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's a super prequel, but I need to know if anybody's who watched Game of Thrones is gonna be watching that show, just so that is it worth watching Game of Thrones? Because now I don't have to wait like 6 months for new episodes to come out after I only saw 3. So,
So you watched it having never watched more than 3 episodes of Game of
well,
Thrones?
I watched like it was because I heard that you didn't have to really, because it's such a it's a prequel, so you didn't have to really uh watch like Game of Thrones to really to get into the new show.
Well, Tyra says he'll be watching it tonight, so
Yeah.
you guys can do a spin-off podcast of Black and Blacker and talk about you know that show.
I mean, I thought it was pretty interesting. But yeah, I just wanted to know if people who are fans of Game of Thrones, if I watch this show, I mean, like, do I need to watch Game of Thrones, or should I just watch Game of Thrones now because it's all out anyways? But
Just go watch Game of Thrones so you can look at all the floppy wieners. Um, so let's talk about something that is interesting to me. I don't know about you, but I love video games, as you know,
yeah,
and I especially love certain. Well, I love just about every sports game. I'm
yeah,
not a fan of soccer, but I will get down on some soccer sports games. I am
okay,
not a fan of hockey, but I'll get down on some hockey games.
uh-huh.
Uh, some sports I am a fan of:
Some FIFA,
wrestling.
some NHL, yeah. I
Wrestling,
know
of
you have
course. Love
got those
wrestling,
games, yeah,
right? Football, Madden,
of course.
baseball, MLB The
The
Show.
show,
Well, just announced this last week the PGA Tour and 2K23 is releasing in the very near future. And the signature character, if you will, or player or person, Tiger Woods, making his way back.
he's back.
Tiger Woods, yes, and the whole trailer is about he's back, and Tiger Woods has not been in a PGA game for many years,
Yeah, he
and
just
so
yeah,
I'll tell you, I think I have either 2K21 or 2K22, and it was fun. It wasn't the same as the old EA golf game,
yeah.
um, but the fact that Tiger Woods is back, it makes me excited to potentially play this.
Yeah, that's cool. I saw it. Yeah, I was like, oh, Tiger's back, baby.
Yeah. Well, and going back to our last topic, Tyrus does say watching House of Dragons will be just like watching Star Wars out of order.
Well, I think it's before everything. It's like way before everything. So
I
I don't
mean, if
know.
you're watching Star Wars in order, are you watching 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9?
Yeah, that's the only because if
What
you watch
order
it,
are we talking about? Are we talking about timeline order? Or are we talking about
yeah.
release order?
And if we're talking about release order, did you see they just put out? I mean, I know this is kind of off topic, but they put out the Marvel movies in chronological order, apparently. Which some of the stuff I'm really confused by, especially when you get towards the end of everything. But yeah,
Yeah,
on
I
Disney
mean,
Plus.
yeah, they can't do it exact because like Eternals obviously takes place long before anything, but it also takes place where it does.
Well, no, I'm saying like that one's one of those that you can kind of, I think, squeeze in due to the fact that it's like supposed to be like modern, because they're talking about like the Avengers and Thanos. So I think that has a place in there. But I think like with some of the stuff it made sense, but when it got towards the end where it's putting like She-Hulk before Miss Marvel, which I was like, that I don't quite understand how that's going to work, and maybe there'll be something in the story that the series that'll make it before. But yeah, Miss Marvel was like the last one on there, which I was kind of confused by. But release order, so that what like that doesn't make sense right now. Like, how is this?
So
Whatever.
Tyrus wants you to watch Lord of the Ring, or I'm sorry,
Game of
House of
Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Yes, he wants you to go back
Yes.
and watch Game of Thrones from the beginning.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys could do a watch pod, or all three of us. We could do a watch pod. Start with episode 1 and watch it and talk about it. No, that sounds
No.
terrible.
Oh,
Let's talk about something that doesn't sound terrible. And Disney and Marvel are doing a games showcase on September 9th.
yo,
Did
if
you see
this
the
is
trailer
any,
for this?
yeah, if this is anything like I mean, I saw some of the games that we've talked about previously on here, in the little trailer, but man,
So this is
that
the day after Disney Plus Day.
yeah, and is this at D23 or no?
Yes. So this will be at D23. This will be on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and Facebook, for your viewing pleasure at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, it's watching the trailer. I'm like, I know about all of these things, but it makes me think they're gonna drop some new stuff.
Yeah,
And they're specifically waiting until the day after Disney Plus Day, because Disney Plus Day, I'm sure there's going to be some stuff that gets announced on that day.
right.
So, yeah, I love Disney, I love Marvel, I love gaming, and so a lot of the Disney gaming stuff they've done lately has been pretty good.
Off the charts.
Yeah. So hopefully they keep in line with that.
Oh, did you see they added some new characters? They added like two or three new characters onto
Yeah, I know we got
Mirrorverse.
yes on Mirrorverse we got Simba and we got Wally.
They just added
And
Violet and Dory apparently.
oh, I did not see that. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
That's interesting. We got our damn checking in, Brian. Sup, y'all?
Sup, y'all?
What's good, Brian? How you doing out there? Hope you're living the dream, one day at a time, living that whipped lifestyle. So James
Says the man who's been in that lifestyle longer.
I'm married. There's a difference between married and whipped. Let's get that straight.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Did I go to Disneyland with you last year?
That's true, yeah.
So, James, speaking of last year, one of
Yes.
the exciting things we did last year for the Fat and Black Connection is we went to SummerSlam.
Oh yeah.
And after SummerSlam, we had a fantastic meal, if I remember correctly,
That is correct.
which was at Gallagher Steakhouse.
Right.
And probably, I believe, if I remember correctly, you yourself said the best meal you'd ever had in your life.
Well, yeah. Yeah. It was definitely one of the best. I mean, out of all the steaks and stuff I've ever had, and out of pretty much most of the food I've had, yeah, that definitely was on the top.
The top or the top?
It was like the top.
Yeah. So the reason I bring this story up is because something I didn't know is that locally here in Northern Nevada, UNR, University of
University of
Nevada,
Nevada,
Reno,
Right.
they have a meat science section where they actually,
What? Meat science.
well, and it makes sense when you think about
Yeah.
somebody's got to teach, the youth of tomorrow how to slaughter animals and how to cut cow and how to be butchers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so this is an offering at UNR. They actually have an area where there's a ranch with animals, and they help to raise them and grow them and everything, and then ultimately turn them into the delicious items we see in this image.
Meat.
Yeah, I am an omnivore. I do eat some fruits and vegetables, not much, but I love me some meat, and I'm not hating on people that don't. By
Yeah.
all means, live the life you want to live. Don't
Yeah.
hate on me for living the life I want to live.
Yeah.
However, an interesting story that came out in the Nevada Current that is
Is that a local newspaper?
I don't know what it is. It's a website, Nevada Current.
Oh.
I had never heard of
Oh.
it,
Okay.
but a story that released earlier this week, and I'm just going to go ahead and read through the story. So, hat tip to NevadaCurrent.com. Workers at Wolfpack Meats, the University of Nevada Reno slaughterhouse, reportedly violated humane handling practices during 2 March inspections, according to reports from the USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture, by beating cattle and shooting a lamb in the back of the head, which failed to render the animal unconscious. The report also says a worker shot a cow in the head with 3 other steers crowded into a stun box, a violation of humane handling practices. Now, I should preface this may be difficult for some people to hear, but I think it's important that we talk about this kind of stuff because people need to be held accountable. And again, I love to eat meat. I have no problem with people going out and hunting and doing whatever. But when it comes to processed meat that we're going to get in the grocery store and stuff, there's a way it's supposed to be handled.
Yeah. My whole thing is that how, like, okay, I could understand the one time. I mean, it's not great, but the one time I can understand you having a violation. I get that. But 2 times within the same month, like, bro, what?
Let's read on through this story. A report of the lamb incident from March 15th, says the inspector, heard 1 gunshot from the knock box, then a second shot followed by a loud yell. I immediately walked to the knock box. I saw 5 lambs in the right front corner of the enclosure and 1 lamb in the center that was in sternal recumbrancy with its 4 limb hooves tucked between its hind limbs, and its head and neck rested over on its forelimbs. Its eyes were open, constricted. It had a palpable reflex, but not vocalizing or attempting to stand up. So basically, it had been shot and
But it was
didn't,
like sprawl. Was it
didn't
sprawl
die.
out?
It sounds like it was like kind of just hunched over, but still
Yeah.
alive.
Jeez.
The lamb's head dropped to the floor after it was shot a 3rd time. Federal regulations say shooting should produce immediate unconsciousness in the animal by a single shot before it is shackled, hoisted, thrown, cast, or cut. The animal shall be shot in such a manner that they will be rendered unconscious with a minimum of excitement and discomfort. On March 10th, an inspector reported seeing 3 steers and 1 heifer all herded into the cattle knock box and observed all 4 of the animals were lifting their legs up and down and bobbing their heads side to side to attempt to fit into such a tight space. They're really only supposed to go in one at a time.
One at a time. And that's what, and then they like, I mean, because I also read the story, and then is that when they told him, like, yo, it's only supposed to be one at a time type deal?
Let's see. Also on March 10th, the inspector observed an employee attempting to drive 2 heifers and 1 steer into a stunning area. These cattle were approximately 600 pounds each. As the livestock refused to walk into the knock box, the employee became frustrated and soon began to strike a red plastic sorting board directly on the hips of the animals. When that didn't work, he switched to the rattle paddle, a paddle used to sort and divide cattle, and began to use it on the rump of the heifers and on the forehead of the heifers. The inspector informed the employee the paddle is not to be used excessively and it should not be used to hit the animals directly over their head, the report says. A spokesman for UNR said in a statement that Wolfpack Meats implemented a plan for corrective action that included retraining with senior employees and verification of improved performance. The University of Nevada Reno takes animal welfare very seriously and maintains AAA LAC accreditation at all of its facilities, which is the gold standard accreditation for animal welfare.
Okay. Just not these 2 times.
Well, actually, going on later in the story, in 2019, it was reported that the USDA cited the slaughterhouse when a worker shot a cow 3 times in an effort to stun it.
That should, I mean, there has to be a way. I don't know how close they are when they're shooting these animals. That's first off. But secondly, there has to be like a way to, like, this is where, like, you shoot here. Like, I don't know. I don't know. This
is the law on what humane methods are. No method of slaughtering or handling in connection with slaughtering shall be deemed to comply with the public policy of the United States unless it is humane. Either of the following two methods of slaughtering and handling are hereby found to be humane. A. In the case of cattle, calves, horses, mules, sheep, swine, and other livestock, all animals are rendered insensible to pain by a single blow or gunshot or an electrical, chemical, or other means that is rapid and effective before being shackled, hoisted, thrown, cast, or cut. Or B, by slaughtering in accordance with the ritual requirements of the Jewish faith or any other religious faith that prescribes a method of slaughter whereby the animal suffers loss of consciousness by anemia of the brain caused by the stimulantaneous and instantaneous severance of the carotid artery with a sharp instrument and handling in connection with such slaughtering.
Okay. So like for kosher meat and stuff like
Kosher, halal, yeah.
halal, yeah. So in order for it to be done, in order for it to be considered, that it has to be slaughtered in a certain way. Yeah, no, I get that. So
But ultimately, the point here is that there are other ways. They don't need to, at UNR's facility, they don't have to shoot the animals. They have other options. They could do electrical or chemical.
I don't know
As
how
long,
I don't know how I feel about I don't know what the chemical and what the chemical is or how
how
it
it
works.
affects the meat.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that I'd be concerned about is like, I mean, I already know that some of the meat is already because they're giving them hormones and stuff like that. In some cases, not all cases. I don't know how this place works, but like I said, I didn't even know that place existed until I read the story today. But yeah, I would like to know like I'd like to know what some of these other options are, and if UNR plans on implementing some of them.
Yeah, there's more information out there on shooting animals by law and how to do that and what should uh, be done for it to be effective and things of that nature. Um, uh, I don't know, man. It's the irony almost was just about a month ago. We had maybe 2 months ago. I had found out about that facility,
Hmm.
and a couple weeks later, I was telling my wife, I was like, "Hey, maybe we should go buy our meat there, support local business, support the
Yeah,
school, blah blah blah." And I'm so thankful that we never did because finding this out, it disgusts me. Um, I get that things happen, and I get that there is that occasion where you might shoot the cow in the same spot you shot the last 20, and
and
this
it just
one,
doesn't for some reason. Yeah,
but I mean, that's what's happening when inspectors are there. What's happening when
yeah.
they're not?
That's what I'm saying. Like if they're like if I'm sure if what was that? When did that happen? Was that 2 years ago?
No, that just happened
3 years?
recently.
Oh,
It
okay.
does, it referenced a story from
From
2019 as well.
yeah, that's what I was talking. I thought okay. So, anyways, but regardless, yeah, that needs to be like I'm sure they have to have more inspections because of that stuff. I remember, like when we worked at Red Robin, when we had, BERs or we had inspectors come in, we had to get things had to be done properly those days. I mean, and they should have been done properly all the time. But during those days, if we failed, we had to redo it again very soon after that.
I
So
mean, you worked for me at FedEx,
yeah,
and we got audited. I
yeah,
went around. I was one of the people doing audits of other facilities.
right,
You knew my philosophy. Do
yep.
it right all the time, and you
You
don't
don't have
care.
to
You
worry
don't.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't do a dog and pony show when the auditors are there.
right,
Do it right all the time.
right.
So, anyways, ultimately, this is just a really sad story. It's almost sickening, frankly. And I know not everybody out there listening and watching lives in Northern Nevada, but if you do, maybe don't go support this meat shop for a while until they get their act together.
Yeah, that definitely would like they definitely need to have something like with reporting. They have to report. I'm sure that there's definitely has to be some consequences for these things. And so like I'm sure they're held to account more now and they should have been held to account the whole time. Because especially like you said, when somebody's an inspector's there and you're doing the wrong stuff, like come on, bro.
Yeah.
Not
By the
okay.
way, I'm now drinking a Belching Beaver peanut butter milk stout.
Yo, that's good stuff.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Um, let's switch gears and get away from killing cattle and lambs, and let's talk about equally, well, maybe not equally, but let's also talk about some more negative stuff, and that is Disney Plus is increasing its prices. So when Disney first launched Disney Plus back in 2020, I believe,
Yeah.
2019.
No, just like, yeah, 2019, right before
Um,
pandemic.
yes, it was $6.99 a month,
Right.
which was crazy low when you think about it.
Stupid low.
Um, and in 2021, they increased their price to $7.99, dollar
Which it made
increase.
sense. I think that made sense too, because they at that point too, when in 2021 they had a bunch more content.
Well, here we are now in 2022, and they're going to go up to $10.99, a
So
$3
$3
increase.
increase.
However, they are offered. It does sound like they're going to be offering a with ads option that will be at a lower rate.
Yeah, like again with that, my whole question is it gonna be like hopefully it's not in movies and stuff. Hopefully if
It
they
will be in movies. There's no way that it's not, or it's going to be kind of like
I
the
like
Peacock concept where they make you watch, 2 to 3 minutes worth of ads
and then
before.
everything's yeah, like I have no problem. If it's before, I have no problem.
Yeah, because
But
that's time to
as
go get popcorn and take a
right,
pee. And
as long as it's not in the middle of the film, like that irritates me.
yeah, no, you won't get an argument from me in that regard. But part of the reason for this price increase is because they feel it's justified. They have now officially overtaken Netflix.
Yeah.
They have more subscribers than any other platform in the world.
Yeah, and I mean the content that they're putting forward is it's been amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately you get what you pay for. And I think with this one, you are getting what you pay for. And when Netflix is charging, I think they're up to what, $20 a month at this point.
Mm,
They need to get knocked down a peg.
yeah,
And I mean, as you know, I canceled my subscription not that long ago because when they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to increase again," I was like, "Nope,
yeah.
the content you're
And
coming
the
out with
content wasn't
isn't.
yeah,
It's not appealing to me." I mean, as I've talked about before, like when Squid Game season 2 comes out, I'll probably get it for a month and I'll watch it and I'll be done. Like,
yeah,
the stuff that interests me, I'll spend the money for a month or two and watch what I want in that month or two, and then I'll move on.
right.
And one of the nice things for me is I got Disney Plus. I did the 3-year deal when
Right.
it first was announced, and so I was one of the early adopters with that subscription. And I think it broke out to basically like $4 a month for 3 years.
Right.
You just had to pay for it all at once up front.
All up front, yeah.
And for me, it's been absolutely worth it. I'm not looking forward to my subscription coming to an end and having to re up, but I'm still going to do the yearly, which is later this year, because luckily my subscription comes up just before the price hike. So I
So
can
you
sign up for another year, pay for the whole year at once, and I'm
lock in. You don't have to worry about the price increase, at least at that point.
exactly correct. So, yeah, let's keep
Wait,
talking about some more.
did they give like do they have the option like it costs, like if you pay for the year it costs less or whatever? Is that what that is?
Yes. So if you pay for a whole year rather than monthly, yes, it is cheaper.
Okay.
And Tyrus says that they are expanding into Japanese anime. I hadn't heard about that, but again,
Well, I mean, if it's the stuff that if it was the stuff that Disney released in America, like there was the like Totoro and some of those
Howling Castle.
yeah, some of those films like that Disney released in America, then I mean, that wouldn't surprise me if they put that on Disney Plus.
And speaking of Disney Plus, so with Disney Plus Day coming up, there are some things that are going to be dropping on Disney Plus Day. One of those is a live action Pinocchio. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Starring Tom Hanks. A new trailer dropped, which
Yes.
showed us a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that Honest John. I was surprised that like they actually did the Fox,
Honest John and Gideon.
Gideon, yeah. Stromboli looked cool. I liked the
Yeah, I'll be honest though. I'm feeling like it's almost a shot for shot remake of the cartoon. Like all of the other ones that they've made of late, where they've taken,
The
Dumbo, or
cons,
they've
yeah,
taken one of the other films and then made it live action.
right.
Usually there are obviously similarities, but this feels like it's close to a shot for shot remake.
I think it's just from the trailer. I don't think I don't think that all of it'll be shot for shot. I think there'll be absolutely some stuff that's, for scenes. Like, well, I mean, I can tell you one of the ones that I saw that was different was it looked like they were being pulled on a boat. Jiminy Cricket was like riding a seagull to Monstro from what it looked like in the trailer, which is, and he was
Instead of going underwater.
yeah. So I don't know how all that's affected, but like that I knew looked different. Treasure Island looks actually Treasure Island, Pleasure Island, Pleasure Island
Pleasure
actually
Island.
looked like a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. Just in that trailer, I was like, "Yo, that looks crazy good." But yeah, I don't think it'll be a shot for shot deal. But from the trailer, it's definitely very. I can see where you're going.
So let me ask you: will you be watching this on Disney Plus Day, or will you be watching this later?
I probably, probably a day or two, but like a day or two later.
I mean, it is a Thursday that it drops, so
Yeah. So I mean, oh, if it drop, I mean, I guess it'll drop at midnight, right? So I might be able to, yeah, I might watch it that night, maybe.
I'll probably give it some time. I want to hear from some other people before I watch it. And
Like for me, yeah, I do appreciate others' opinions on stuff, like films and stuff. But for the most part, I'm gonna make my own judgment call. Like if I want to see a film, then I'm gonna see it. I don't really care. Like I don't really care about reviews and things like that.
And going back to our anime conversation, Tyrus says that evidently Disney bought the rights to Bleach. Did not know that, hadn't heard about that. And Bleach is part of the big three: Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece. It's a huge
One
flex
Piece, yeah.
that they took this from Sony, who now owns Funimation and Crunchyroll.
Wait, Sony owns both of those now? I didn't know about that. It's crazy. Okay.
Disney's going to buy Sony eventually, I'm sure. So whatever. It's just it makes business sense for them to buy Sony eventually because of purely Spider-Man,
or at least like the film section of it.
Yeah. Not like TVs and
yeah, like what they did, like kind of what they did
music,
like what they did with Fox.
Yeah. Yo, coming out on Disney Plus Day, Obi-Wan Kenobi, A Jedi's Return.
That looks dope.
This is a new behind-the-scenes documentary about the making of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes. 100% watching that. Like, yes.
Yeah, the only thing I'm not sure on is this one episode or one, like, hour?
I want to say it's just like a special.
Yeah, because it doesn't say that it's a series. It doesn't say that it.
Yeah, I think it's just a.
When I read about it somewhere else, it purely just referred to it as about it being a documentary about.
Yeah, I think it's basically like the one they did for Mandalorian, which was like Under the Helmet or whatever.
Yeah, that was one episode.
Yeah, or Boba Fett, one behind Under the Helmet or something like that.
Yeah,
kind of gave the origins and then kind of how this story came along. So I think I'm more interested in purely because of how it started originally as a potential film or a trilogy of films and how it became this. I hope they go into that. And yeah, because I like we talked about, I hope they do another season or two. Like
I feel like with the way they ended it,
it
very much opens it to say, hey, let's have some training sessions with Obi and Ghost Qui-Gon, and
yeah, I'd love to. I want to see. I think there needs to be another, at least another fight with Vader.
Yeah, well, and I would love to see, for some reason, Obi-Wan have to go visit Dagobah.
Well,
maybe have a little hangout sesh with Yoda.
Oh, that would. Oh, yes. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it could get fun, and then all of a sudden, you could have Snip show up because she's still out there.
Yeah, which can lead into, well, no, because she wasn't. Well, I mean, she could, but I don't. She's not really a fan of of Yoda and Obi-Wan after the whole falling out with the Jedi Order.
This is true. This is
Yeah.
true. And Tyra says we need to see the final fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. Well, I think that was already done, if I recall.
Clone Wars.
Yeah, so that was the final fight. Yes, in the comics there is. It has been done where Darth Maul comes to Tatooine and does have that fight with Obi-Wan and finally gets taken out. So I mean, you could do it.
I just, but like that's the thing. It's like the comics and everything else. It's so there's so many different like. I don't know. The continuity of it all kind of gets.
I mean, it
skewed.
wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility. We had Darth Maul in Solo, so he is still out there in canon.
Was he in Solo? Oh
Are
yeah,
you serious?
yeah. The end. I'm sorry. I was. Yeah.
And Tyrus corrects you. It was Rebels, as well as Brian corrects you. It was Rebels. So you were wrong, James.
Obi-Wan fought in what? Okay, whatever. Anyways.
So talking about some more Disney Plus. Last Thursday,
Yeah.
we had the series premiere
Sure did.
of She-Hulk,
Attorney at Law. Oh yeah.
And I gotta tell you, these introduction characters,
I love it. I love him.
they're
so,
doing
good.
So good.
How she ended up getting the power, so good.
Yeah, well, and I mean, obviously, Mark Ruffalo shows up, and we'll show some images here in a couple minutes. But we get Mark Ruffalo coming back as
Smart Hulk.
Smart Hulk. I mean, the film starts off and he's just Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Or the series starts off, I should say. But he does end up reverting. And what's interesting is we see this device on Bruce Banner's arm that he says he created, and it gave him the ability to hold human form. And it kind of felt like a throwaway because we see him and he still has his arm in the sling. So this is obviously post snap, right?
Yeah.
Post Endgame. And so his arm is still damaged. And there's references to the time where we are and everything.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that it just felt like a throwaway. Here's this device. It has the ability to keep me in human form. And, it's gone, right? A couple of minutes later, it's gone. It just felt like real throwaway there. Is that...
No, I mean, I got it. I mean, I understood what it was going for, because it was something that, and then, with the accident that destroys it. So,
yeah. So there's a car accident, and Bruce is riding with his cousin, and they're going for a drive, and ultimately there's an accident. They go rolling down a hill, and he is bleeding, and she has a cut, and
she actually cuts herself getting out of the car.
Yes,
and then goes
his
to get
blood,
him. Drops it, and he's like, "Get away from me! No, don't get away from me!" So, but
and then his blood mingles with her blood, and she
bada boom, bada bing.
She hulks out and goes on a mini rampage, and Bruce himself changes into Hulk, and they didn't show him, so I don't know if he was Hulk or if he was Smart Hulk in that moment. I assume Smart Hulk.
Well, yeah, they don't show because they showed her, and then I actually rewatched it again, just because just for giggles. But I did not realize the first time, but I realized the second time when she hulks out on the guys at the bar, he actually tackles her. Like he comes flying across the screen and tackles her. So I don't know if it was Smart Hulk or regular Hulk, but yeah, she did. She
Yeah,
did get
I assume it was Smart Hulk, or
yeah.
as Brian calls him, Smulk. Um,
Stupid.
but yeah, and Tyrus calls out. So the reason for the car accident is that all of a sudden a flying vessel, an alien ship, if you will, landed right in front of them, and that caused them to drive off the road. And we'll talk about it, but the ship gets referenced, and Bruce says at some point,
You'll have
"I'm
to
gonna."
check into that. Yeah.
And so my thought is that's going to take place in a feature film. There's going to be something to do there. I don't think we're going to get a payoff for that in this series. We may, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
But
seems like a film plot type deal.
Yeah. I'm thinking Bruce was in this one episode, and maybe we'll see him like one other time in the series or something, or he'll be on the phone a couple times with her. But
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get an entire episode with Bruce as we did in this.
No, I think this because the way this was, it was the introduction, and like you didn't see him in the beginning. You saw him because she does that, and like what I watched the little featurette, the featurette that they came out with like the week before, and it was basically talking about how She-Hulk had a tendency to break the fourth wall in the comics. So I was like, okay, cool. And so like when I saw the first episode, and she's about to leave for court, and she comes back in, and she actually says like, hold up, I'll be or hold up, I'll be right back. And she goes back in the office and does that whole, okay, let me catch you up, so type deal, which I was like, that's cool. To give us that flashback moment, which I was like, okay, I could dig that.
Yeah. So we then find ourselves on this tropical hideaway. You lucky people, where everything is big. Like we see. What is her name? Jennifer Walters.
Jennifer Walters.
So Jennifer has like reverted back to human form,
Yes.
and she's in this huge bed, and she's walking through this house that is massive. Like the walls are very, like when she walks down a corridor, they're very wide, and I'm like, okay, this has got to be built for Hulk. Like
Right.
it just makes sense. And so sure as hell, she walks down the stairs, and
That door is huge. The stairs are huge.
yeah. And Bruce basically says, we've got to figure out what triggers you to help you figure out how to handle your anger. And so in this scene that we see in the image right now, Bruce puts her in this little box and proceeds to have 100
wall of saws and
saw blades coming at her.
Yeah.
And this is a true comedy, and it has been so far, more than any of the other Disney Plus series so far.
Right.
This is really it had some really good funny moments that I very much enjoyed. And
yeah, her outperforming him in when he was trying to train her, quote unquote train her.
Yeah, and we had some training montages. I was waiting for some montage music to kick in.
Gonna need a montage. Yeah.
And
Who's
of course,
your best friend?
Who's your best friend? Spandex.
It was great.
Yeah, just so much. And there was obviously moments of struggle throughout the episode, because Bruce is frustrated because we find out that Jennifer has the ability to more or less control.
Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah, that's that's one thing he's upset about, because he's like, wait, it's you? Like, there's not anybody else in control? Like, he's like, yo, what? How is this possible? This isn't fair.
Yeah, and she obviously is not his equal in strength, but she is very strong.
Oh yeah.
She has Hulk powers, but she's nowhere close to him, I think, on the power scale, if you will.
I think with some of the things that we saw, when I think it was just like it was almost that unbridled, like, what's the most dangerous snake? A baby rattlesnake. or like a any baby venomous snake because they don't know how much venom to deliver. And so
Hmm.
like, she had just kind of this unbridled just kind of power that she didn't, she could kind of just use willy-nilly. Like when the whole clapping thing, that happened when she was like knocking down a whole the trees and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and throughout the episode, there was also those moments of I'm going to show you up, and one of my favorites was the part where they're doing yoga, and you know,
Uh,
uh, Bruce or Smart Hulk is trying to teach her about how to harness and channel her feelings and everything, and they're doing the yoga poses, and she's like on one hand, no problem, and
yeah.
again, training montage. It was funny. It was very
pushes her off a
enjoyable.
pushes her off a cliff.
and
Oh.
and sh but ultimately Jennifer wants to get out of there. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm in control, I'm not you. Bruce had this whole like syllabus
Yeah.
of training that he was going to do, and he had to start ripping out pages. And but Jennifer's like, I got a life, I don't
Yeah.
want to be a superhero. This is not anything I was interested in, and I want to go be a lawyer. That's what I want to do.
And that's the thing is like he's literally trying to force this superhero thing on her, and she's like, "Yo, I don't want this. Like, this is not what This is not me. That's you, cool, but not me." Which
Yeah.
I thought was a good dynamic of like like y- she like and that's the thing is the crazy part was that when like that moment when they're out on the balcony and she literally goes from human form to Hulk form and then right back to human form. I was like, yo, that's crazy that she has this ability. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. And Bruce ultimately he's like, well, cuz you seem to have this under control. I'm here, holler
yeah,
if you need me, but
yeah,
go
let her
go
go.
do your thing, I guess.
Yep.
And so we fast forward a little bit, and Jennifer is prepping for giving her what do
Closing
they call it?
statements.
Yes, closing statement for a case. And we proceed to go into the courtroom, and Jamila Jamil, shows up as Titania,
Yep.
busting through walls.
And they get smashed on.
Yeah, we got nothing here though. I mean,
Nah,
it
I
was
think it.
so
Yeah, it was so
quick.
quick.
I'm just really curious to see where this goes. I love the look for Jamila as Titania. I think it was a great casting choice. Visually, and I love the stuff she's done. I don't know how well you know her, what you've seen her in, but I think
Like
she's
what
immensely
Quantico
talented.
was she in? Was that the one from what was she in?
The thing I know her best from is The Good Place.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
yeah. Okay.
so yeah, I enjoy her. I think she's pretty talented. So
Yeah, and she didn't have did she have I don't even think did she have lines in this or did she say anything when she busted through the wall? I
I
don't
think she
remember.
said, "Who are you?" when Jennifer hulked out,
Oh yeah.
and we've got Rabid Fido checking in. Tried to give it a chance, and it's going to be a no for me. Just terrible.
Well,
To
yeah.
each their own. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a short. I think it's a short series again, if I remember correctly. I think it's 10 episodes. So I don't know. I would always say try and give it another one or two, or wait till it's done
And then
and
just watch it
then
all so you don't have to
yeah,
worry
binge
about
it.
it. But yeah,
Uh,
no, I like we said at the start of it. Like I've enjoyed all the series that Marvel has come out with. Um,
and
you
especially the
know,
origin story ones
yeah,
where they hadn't been introduced previously.
like yeah, Moon Knight, and
She
then like
She
this
Hulk
one
now,
and
Miss
Miss
Marvel.
Marvel, which was crazy good. So I just think that this is one of those things where yeah, if you didn't feel the first episode, give it a couple. I think there's gonna be a payoff, like we saw with in the trailers, like with Wong and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be definitely some payoffs, I believe. So yeah,
Yep.
I think that's the
Abomination.
main. Yeah, I think that's the main thing is the reason to watch it is because there's gonna be those things that are gonna tie into other stuff later. So I think that's where the payoff really comes in.
Yes, and just in case you didn't know, by the way, James, Rabbit Fido is a good friend of ours. Uh, he was actually in an a cappella group with us a long time ago. So um, that is Angel,
Oh,
who's also a fellow voice actor that is involved with Murphy's Inc. So
yeah.
shameless plug, shameless plug.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed the first episode. I like. Oh, yeah. Oh wow, just drop. No, I definitely like. I enjoyed the first episode with all that stuff, and her even.
Oh no, they're taking over
in the courtroom, just having to take off her shoes and stuff like that. She's like, I really like these shoes and stuff like that. So I think it's a good time. It'll be a good time.
Yes, and of course, the final image here is post hulking out, and Jennifer knocking out Titania. She's reverted back to human form, and she's got a little bit of a torn sleeve there.
Yeah, and she's like, I'd like to do my closing statement now. It pulls it back up, but yeah, no. Overall, I enjoyed this episode. I'm excited for the series.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's not. I don't know that it's my favorite first episode. It was a good episode. I love Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. Getting to see an entire episode with him, more or less.
You know what? One of the things I also find funny about this is that, like, I remember. Do you remember when they first announced it was going to be Mark Ruffalo?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I remember this so vividly because I was. It
was at Comic-Con, by the way.
Well, no, because I had it was announced then, but when I had heard about it, I was like, I found out Edward Norton Jr. was all butthurt about them not using a version of his script, so that he was kind of out, which I think he should probably feel real stupid for. But when I heard it was gonna be Mark Ruffalo, I was like, yo, like the only thing I had seen him in had been these romantic comedies and stuff, and I was talking to a buddy at work, JB. So if I don't know if JB's out there, but if he is for some reason, what's up, bro? And we were talking about it, and I was like, yo, but I don't know how I feel about Mark Ruffalo. And he goes, James, stop. What movies have like what kind of movies has Mark Ruffalo been? Romantic comedies. What character does he play in those comedies? Like the guy that's kind of hidden in the background, and then is brought to the forefront because the girl ends up liking him or whatever. And he was like, and who is Bruce Banner? Oh, okay, I get it. A guy that's trying to hide and only comes to the forefront when he gets angry. So he's like, so in a way, it actually really works. And I was like, okay, you're right. Yes, it does.
And he is, in my opinion, been 10 times better than Edward Norton probably would have ever been.
Oh yeah, I don't think I like some of this stuff. I don't think he would have been able to pull off by any means.
Yeah, I think that was a great move by Edward Norton to bow out. So otherwise, who knows? We would have seen Edward Norton's Hulk in this one,
which wasn't a bad Hulk, but I mean, it wasn't a great Hulk either. So
yes, it was not that piece of garbage.
It wasn't. Yeah, it's at least not what wasn't the Ang Lee one. Ugh.
Yeah,
that was so bad.
So James, what else is going on in your life? What else is good? Anything?
Not a whole lot, bro. Just out here doing thing.
Down in Vegas.
Yes, sir.
How's the weather been?
It has been humid. We've had thunderstorms and rainstorms and all that kind of stuff. Oh, wait. There was something we didn't talk about, and I needed to talk to you about this last week, and because we didn't do the show. You heard about what happened at the airport, right?
I guess not.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, so just like everything was cool, but basically somebody thought that shots were being fired and sent everybody scattering. Like we had to shut down everything. People like literally were just running through security, which understandable. But then we basically had to shut down the entire airport. We had to get everybody out of the airport and then get everybody back through security.
And was this while you were working?
I was working.
So this was either really late at night or early in the
No,
morning.
this was stupid. I mean, like one of my coworkers was like, "Yo, this isn't. This is like, this is too early for this. The sun's not even up yet. Like it was still. It was. I think it was around like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, there was. I mean, there was a whole. They like pretty much day of. There was a whole story about it on the news and for like the next couple days out here. But yeah, it was a crazy moment, absolutely crazy. Like, but
Wow.
look up the story if you and we could talk about it later. But yeah, it was. I wanted to tell you about that because it was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Interesting. That sounds like a terribly terrible time.
It was it was not good. It was I mean, like
So how long did it take for you guys to get back up and running?
I mean, after once everything was like was cleared, because like that's the thing, the cops weren't really like that's the thing, like when the cops that we have, the metro officers that we have aren't like going like running and responding to something like that, it's nothing. And so don't
Hopefully.
get me wrong, yeah, hopefully nothing, but at the same time it was just like the absolute sheer chaos of it all was insane. And then like getting everybody out and people being all upset, like, oh, I'm gonna miss my flight. And I'm like this one guy was like, we're gonna miss our flight. And I was like, you see those guys over there? Those are the pilots and those are the flight attendants. They're not going anywhere. So probably you're not gonna miss your flight.
Yeah,
And
it's probably just going to be delayed.
yeah, so there was delayed flights. There was some canceled flights. I don't think it affected. There was flights, connecting flights and stuff that got screwed up. But for the most part, once we got everything up and running, we actually got people through fairly quickly. Like,
So how
which was
long were you guys down for?
oh, we were down for probably about I want to say like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, maybe less. I
Wow.
don't know. I don't remember how long they said that we were down, but like once we were up back and running, I mean, we
I mean,
got
that's a
people
long time though when you think about how many people you see come through your line in an
right.
hour.
But the thing is, and then you also got to take into account there's in Terminal 1 there's 3 different checkpoints. And so people out of we had to get people out of the airport, and not out of the airport, but out of the terminals. They had to clear everybody because so many people just ran through. We had to clear the entire airport and then start getting people back
Even
through.
people who had been checked, they had to get
Yeah, even
rechecked.
people who had been checked because we didn't know who was and who wasn't checked at the
Sure.
time. So we had to just get people back out, and then we did the process again. We had a ton of lost and found that day, that's for sure.
Actually, this brings up an interesting question from my end. Um, so pre-check, like
Mhm.
what exactly is that?
What's pre-check?
Yeah,
Okay, so what pre-check is, it's basically you pay for, I think it's like 5 years.
yeah, $85 for 5
Yeah,
years.
yeah. Basically, they do just a deeper dive. It's like just they get a bit bigger background check of you to make sure that you're not a threat, basically,
Hmm.
quote unquote a threat. So therefore, when you go through, it's just a faster process. But the problem is I remember when it first started, it wasn't. It was a thing because like not very many people had it, or I guess there was a good number of people that had it, but like there weren't as many people as have it now. And so like because we've had times when the pre-check line is longer than the regular line. But
Really?
basically, yeah. So basically, the nice part about pre-check is that you don't unless you have like steel toe boots or something on, or certain kind like some high heels and stuff like that. You don't have to take your shoes off. You can leave your electronics in the bag, and it's just kind of a faster process. That's pretty much what it is. So,
Interesting.
I
Because
mean, if
I
you
was
travel,
personally looking at doing it.
yeah,
Um,
if you travel a good amount, then it's definitely worth something to get, because then you don't have to worry about it's normally a lot faster process in most cases. Like you said, you don't have to take computers and stuff out. you just basically leave them in your bag, unless you have more than like 3 or something like that. But that's beside the point. But yeah, it just makes the process a little bit more streamlined, a little bit faster. You don't have to worry about taking shoes off. Don't have to worry about taking electronics out. Don't have to worry, like, if you have a thin coat on, you can leave that on. Things like that. So it just kind of speeds the process up in most cases.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I think that's all the line of question I have in that regard.
Glad I could help.
Thank
Glad I
you.
could
Thank
help.
you. Yes, you're
Yeah.
useful for something once in a while. Obviously, not when it comes to preparing for this show. So, speaking of, one thing that I just wanted to briefly bring up is that w- we obviously work with the production company 90 to now. They're a great group of people over there,
Mhm.
and you know, ultimately we report to them at the end of the day. Um, they they kind of own Fat and Black Connection now, and
Mm, mm.
they one of the things that we're trying to help them with as well is getting the word out there that they are looking for up and coming talent
Oh yeah.
who has an interest in getting stories produced into an audio format or have podcasts ideas that they'd like to see produced. Um, so if you're
We
out
got
there
you.
and you're interested, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll help you get connected. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, 97 to now, they're up and coming and growing. They're on the move.
Like
Uh,
we
I,
already did.
I
We already did the one project, like I talked about a couple weeks ago.
yeah, where you were working with them on doing a short story audio format. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I started reading some of the other stuff that we got submitted from Austin in that same universe, and I'm like, yo, I think we might need to work on those, honestly.
Oh, so that we may hear or see some more things coming from that same kind of line.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so, and definitely if you guys know any, if you know any writers who want to have, or I mean, people who just have short stories, maybe not even that they just want to get out there and turn it into audio format. Yo, let us know. We'll get in touch with them, and then we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also heard that 97 to now was actually contacted by another podcast creator, um, and that they're looking at picking up because they're already they came along because we helped send them in the right direction towards Murphy's
Yeah,
Inc. They already picked up Murphy's Inc. and they're looking at potentially picking up another podcast. So uh,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
So on the move.
Yeah, and I mean they've got us. I don't really consider us like much work for them at the end of the day. Like, you
Easy
know,
work.
I do all the work for us. So
Easy work.
I guess you can't really call it work though because it's not paid. So
Right. I mean, and we do it for the fun of it. So
yes, it's a labor of love.
yeah.
You got anything else on your mind?
Nah, man. I think this was a good time today. I like the we'll definitely. I can't wait. I can't wait for that for Disney Plus Day. Especially, I cannot wait for the Disney and Marvel gaming stream. That'll be something worth seeing for sure. So definitely. And for all those that didn't like She-Hulk, yo, give it like one more episode, maybe 2 more episodes. See,
Yeah,
give it a
just
chance.
just wait till the series is done and then binge it.
Yeah, there you go. So, anyways, but nothing but love for y'all, people.
Absolutely. Well, James, I don't even think got anything else on my end, so I think we can wrap this shindig up.
Yep, let's cut it.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the show, and if not, we don't care. We'll be back. We'll be back in a week with some more new, fresh content.
Boom.